G'day all, welcome back to Dad vs Son and our playthrough of Next War Vietnam. My apologies for procrastinating over this a little bit, but I've just been trying to get my head around what's going on. So we're actually going to go on with the last standard scenario, the Gates of Hanoi, which is 16 turns long. Both the operational and the strategic map are used, and Allied player sets up first as usual. The air mobile points for the Allies is 1 air mobile and 3 command outposts. Anti-submarine warfare level is at 1. The Vietnamese start with the Mi-24 in any airbase. All Vietnamese 3 Vietnamese Marine units in any port hex, Hanoi Division in Hanoi as usual, all 1 Corps units within 5 hexes of Hanoi or 2 of Haiphong, all 2 Corps units in 1st Military Region, and all 1, 2 and 3 Military Region non-PSDF units anywhere in their regions. On top of that, we get 1 US carrier and an amphib in the Indian Ocean. We get the US Marine Corps, 1st of the 4th, 1st, 2nd and 3rd of the 3rd, the 3 LAR and 1 Cobra helicopter, and ASW level is +2, which brings us up to a ASW level of +3. The Commonwealth starts out with all of the 1st Australian Division, 3 units, and the Gurkhas. And then we have reinforcements for the Allies right up to game turn 14 as such. For the Chinese, the non-allied, they get 4 air mobile points. Submarine threat level is 2. They get 2 amphibs, a surface action group, and a carrier battle group in the PRC holding box. All the 83rd Guards Army are on or northeast of the PRC border. All 74th Guards Army are on or northeast of the PRC border, further to the east. The 75th Guards Army is north or northwest of the border and northwest of Row 22. There are attack helicopters set up in any airfield, airbase or the PRC holding box. They have 1 and 2 Marine and all 6 airborne units up in the PRC holding box. And that's about it. They get... So the initiative is with the Chinese for game turn 1 and 2. Initiative VPs are 15. And of course I haven't put that counter out because I'm an idiot. So I will find that counter and put it out before we start. Automatic victory is 70 VPs. All non-allied attacks on game turn 1 get their 1 column shift to the right. The weather, we've gone with dry, sieve and clear for game turn 1. After that we roll. We roll for air points as normal, but we're going to use actually the alternate air rules. Dun, dun, dun. We'll track air point losses and pre-game movement after non-allied setup, but before the start of game turn 1. The allied player may move each ground unit in 1 and 2 corps up to half their rounded value. Units cannot enter enemy country, can't build bridges or use air mobile, air transport, airborne, and ZOCs are not in effect across national borders. So I will slightly pause it there. I'll grab that automatic victory points. Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, so this is what the reinforcement track looks like at the moment. So as you can see, we've got Chinese and Allied, Chinese and Allied, Marines, US Army, Commonwealth, Marines, a chopper, and the rest of the US Army coming on at that time. So it's looking pretty good. So let's have a look then at how I've set up, and I haven't done any initial movement or anything else. So over looking first to the north, this is where I've set up the 83rd Guards Army and the 74th Guards Army. My 3 combat outposts is 1 here and 2 over to the left, which I'll show you in a moment. I've got the 2nd up here, 2nd Div. I've got the Marines in Haiphong. I've got 1st Div down around here, 3rd MR sitting in Hanoi, along with the division and the chopper. And then over here to the northwest, I've got a combat outpost with 2 MR units there, and a combat outpost with 2 MR units there. And then we have the 75th Guards Army ready to come on. So that is that. So the other thing we have down south here is the 82nd Airborne, which from my reading of the rules can come in on an air base. So they've come in down here, ready to a rock and a roller. So Allied player may move each ground unit in 1 and 2 corps, up to half rounded up. Okay, so 1 corps is here, and we can move them half, and 2 corps is up here if we want to move them. Now, at the moment, I don't want to move this guy because he's going to hopefully slow these down a bit. This guy's in a town, so he's looking pretty good. This guy's in jungle, so he's looking pretty good. And this guy is sitting up here on the hill ready to go wherever he goes. So I don't really think I want to move anyone. Right. Okay, so that's that. I am bound to make copious amounts of mistakes during this one, so please give me the benefit of the doubt. Try not to hit me over the head too much, and I will do the best I can. I'll just lift that up there. That's probably a little bit easier. Okay, so for the Chinese, I've got all their A markers in there and their B markers in there. The Allies have got their A markers in there and their B markers in there. I have not added in the extra A markers, which are basically the Army, Navy and Air Force. I just left them out. Or just Army and Navy, I think they are. Yeah. So let's get to it. Weather phase is done. Supply phase we're not using again, so it doesn't matter. We know that the Chinese have initiative, so we go for air points. Right. So we still use the standard game air points chart. And here is our tubs. Red for the Chinese, blue for the Allies. And I'll go through this so I can do it. Okay, so package markers, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Each player makes a die roll, cross-references as a result with the game turn on the standard. Okay, so for the Chinese, I'll bring that over a bit. This is for their A markers. We get a 0. So a 0 less than 1 is 9. Okay, to the points generated, add a number of package markers according to the following. Add 1 per CV or 2 per CVN on the map or naval display and not in port. So that will add a 1. If the player did not receive international intervention with air units, halve the final value rounding up, then the player draws that many A's. Okay, so we have 9 halved is 5 rounded up, plus 1 because they've got a CV is 6 A's. So we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and put that over there. And then the B's makes another roll, cross-references, applies any weather effects, and randomly pulls that many counters. Okay. 2 is 8. Ouch. Okay, so you've got 14 markers all told. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's got 14. Okay, for the Allies, again, we roll. We get a 5, which is 2. We've got a CV. Sorry, we've got a CVN, so that's we can add 2 to it. We did get international, so halve the final if they didn't. So we get 2 plus 2 is 4 A's. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for B's, we get a 3, which is another 2 B's. So we've got 4 and 2 is 6. The difference is 8. So looking at air superiority, we've got 14. We use the other. So we've got 14 to 6 is 2 to 1. So they have advantage. Chinese have advantage because it's 1.5 but less than 3 to 1. Okay. AWACS shift 1. Okay, so I suppose I can put the AWACS out there as well, which I haven't done. So I'll pause and find that and chuck him out there. Won't be long. Okay, so first mistake is that I supposed to use the standard differences. So we had 14 minus 6 is 8, which is actually air superiority. Okay. We're going to use the AWACS anyway, so it's still a shift 1. So the AWACS is on a 1 for the Chinese. We'll see how that goes. Righto, so we've got our hairy planes. Next up. Right, set air superiority level during non-storm turns. Storm turns, roll for sea control. So as per usual, the Chinese start with sea control in the 3 sea zones. So let's have a look at our chart and see what we've got. Okay, Turn over to sea control. Righto. Select an inshore box for assessment. So let's start with the Tonkin inshore box there. Is the inshore box occupied by naval units of both sides? No. Is the associated at-sea box controlled by either side? Yes. Is the inshore box controlled by the other side? No. Is it occupied by a naval unit of the side that doesn't control it? No. Is it contested? Yes. Roll for sea control. Okay, so our roll is a 1. Now, we have a -2 for the Gulf of Tonkin, so we're down to -1. There's nothing present. Sub-level is 2, so we have -3. ASW level is 3, so we're back to 0. And plus or -1 for non-allied S priority, so it's S priority for them, so it's a -1. So PRC control. I know it's a long-winded way of doing it, but I just thought it was easier to do it like this. Okay, so we find another inshore box now, and we'll go to the paracels. And again, it's going to be very similar. So we have a 2. There's nobody present. Sub-level is 2, so we have 0. ASW level is 3, so we're back up to +1. And S priority brings it down to 0 again, so that's PRC controlled. And again, an 8. Okay, now now these are in the Indian Ocean, they're not in the Spratlys, so I don't think they count at all. So we have 8, -2 is 6, +3 is 9, -1 is 8, and that's Allied controlled. So we have Allied control in the Spratlys. And then we go in and do the sea zones. Right. Oh, in the standard game, So it's automatically always roll for those ones as is. Okay, so Gulf of Tonkin, we have a 2, nobody present. Sub-threat takes it down to 0. ASW takes it up to +1. Chinese S priority brings it down to 0 again, so it stays in Chinese control. Into the South China Sea, a 7, nobody present again. Sub-threat -2 takes us to 5. ASW level takes it up to 8. -1 is 7, and that becomes Allied control. And the Spratlys are 0. Again, -2 +3 is +1, -1 is 0, and the Spratly sea zone remains in Chinese control. So there we go. Woohoo! Next. Mine clearance? No. If neither player holds it, it's a contested turn. Okay, so we actually need to do mine clearance, not on game turn 1, so we could ignore that. So initiative movement segment. So what do the Chinese wish to do? And I think what they want to do is put a surface action group is going to move into the Gulf of Tonkin, and then it's going to move into the Tonkin inshore. No, it's not. It's going to stay in the Gulf of Tonkin. The carrier battle group is going to move into the Gulf of Tonkin and stay there for the time being. Or do I want to put the surface action group in here to try and get this back? Yeah, let's do that. So it's going to go down into here, like that. Now we're going to take an amphib with our 2 Marines. And again, they're going to go into the Gulf of Tonkin and then into the Tonkin inshore box. And that's where they stop. And then we're going to look at our 4 air mobile points, I believe. Yep. 4 air mobile points for the Chinese. And we're going to take 2 infantry and 2 of the mechanized infantry. And let's see what we're going to do with them. Now, the Marines are pretty damn good. And they've got a heli chopper as well. But we need to protect this area here because this is where our beachhead's going to come in. So I'm going to try and land one of these here, one of these here, him in there as well, and him in there as well. And basically blocking these roadways here. Right, now, for air defense fire. Now, do we want to add an escort? We can add an escort. We're not within 2 hexes of an enemy airfield or installation or naval unit. Not adjacent to armor. And nobody flew over an enemy unit. No. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Looking at the package markers, and we're looking at escort. A player may draw a package marker from his ready draw as an escort for air transport, air movement, or air mobile movement. Use half the air defense value rounded up to determine the escort DRM up to a maximum of +2. Okay, so we got 14 to 6. I'm going to add 1, 2. Okay, so we have 1 and we have 2. And they're both Bs and they're both crappy. Okay, so their air defense value is the, where's my tweezers? Forceps. Is this value here. So we halve that, round it up, so it becomes 1 and 1 is 2. Right, now, air defense. Use the standard game rules for air defense fire against units using blah, 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 blah. Okie dokie. So we have a roll with -2. Do we want to try and do something about that? Do we want to use a No, it's not air superiority. It's not a strike. It's not a naval strike. It's not a combat support. They're not escorting. So no, we can't. Okay, so it's a -2. So we have this one first. A 6 minus 2 is 4, and he's safe. He's safe. He's safe. So it's actually a +2, sorry, not a -2. And he's safe. Okay, so they've all got through the air defense fire, and we get rid of those. They're both Bs. And now we have to do the actual paradrop to see if they land okie dokie. And there's no Zoc, so it doesn't matter. So, and they're landing in the flat. So a 0 through 8 is good. Is good. Oh, a 9 or greater is 1S1. So we don't have to worry about that. Landing unit loses a step. There we go. This one, an 8 is good. And lucky last, a 1 is good. So they all got down except for 1 properly. Okay, so they're there, and they can move 1 hex now if they wish. In which case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these little fellas into Vauban and these ones into Tandep. Like that. Okay. Now, what else do we want to move? And I'm thinking I could always try and bring over the other 2 airdropped units as well. On the other amphib. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that amphib into a sag. So actually I'm going to leave that sag up there. Sorry. And I'm going to bring this sag down into the South China Sea. Like that. Which leaves us with our movement of our Chinese ground units now. So what do we want to do here? Okay, so we want to take out this guy here. Now he's sitting there for 4, 5, 6. Now if I bring motorized man down, okay. So this guy's are 8s movements. Okay, so if we want to go into there, it's going to cost 1. They're going into jungle, which costs +2. And it's is it rough? It's okay. So I think I've been screwing up the movement before. So I think it's +2 for the jungle, but it's 3 for the rough. In which case, that would cost 6 to go to there, which is pretty dicky, isn't it? So we've got 6 there. No, I think I've been doing that wrong. So 3, 6, 7 to there. 3, 6, 7 to there, because I think there's an extra 1 because we've come into them. Leave him half 1, and he comes down. And he can come down as well, like that. He can stay, no, in fact, they can stay there, I think. What have we got here? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I need another one. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and I'm going to bring this guy down here and this guy down to here, like that. And their chopper is there to support them. Now here, this guy's sitting there for 12. This guy's sitting there for 8. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. +1 for moving into his zoc is 8. And 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's on that road, so I can't jump over to there and keep coming this way, I don't believe. He can come to there. I've got too many there, haven't I? 2, 4, 6. You go there. Okay. Can come down half 1, half to there. And artillery can come down half to there. Right. Now we come over to here. And we got these little fellas. And this is the only one that couldn't start, didn't have to start on a road. So that's why I put him out there. So he's going to go, now he's foot through jungle, which is just a +1. So he'll go 2, 4 to there. And he can attack across the bridge at half. We've got these two here. These two fellas here are both 8s. And can come to here, like that. This bloke is a 7, and he's going to just come up 1 with the artillery, like that. And that is all of the initial movement section. So, what I might do is, initiative move. What I might do is call it quits there, and then we can come back and do combat and move along. because this takes a little bit longer, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit dickier. So I will call it quits there. I'll put this one up before I go any further, and you can let me know what I've screwed up, okay, before we go any further. So take care, be good, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.